In his first true free agency after joining the Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant decided to team up with longtime friend Kyrie Irving this summer and join the Brooklyn Nets. Some assume this move was in order to protect his legacy and show people he could win without a super team, and while that would be a safe assumption, the reports that have come out in the past few days have contradicted that belief. While it still might be true to some degree, it seems like there is some chemistry issues in Golden State. Let's get into it. Before we look at what happened behind the scenes, let's take a look at what we already know. In this clip, you can see Durant clearly calling from the ball from Draymond Green, and he fails to pass to him, resulting in the game going into overtime. This resulted in a confrontation on the bench, with Draymond calling Durant words that you can't say on YouTube unless you want to be demonetized. This sent the basketball world into a frenzy, especially after cameras caught Green saying what he said. The Warriors ended up suspending Green for one game, which seemed like they were having Durant's back in hopes of showing them that they have his side so he would re-sign with them this offseason. That ultimately did not work, but at least we know who the Warriors thought was in the right. At the time, the Warriors were so dominant, and while we were all happy to see that there was some trouble in the locker room because we were sick and tired of them winning every year, we all kind of brushed it off knowing they were probably still going to win the title this summer. It's hard to see an incident like this being the sole reason Durant would leave the Warriors, and if the reporting that has happened over the last few days is correct, it wasn't. So now it's time to look at the juicy stuff and see the true reason Durant left the Warriors. If there is one word to describe the reporting over Durant's departure over the past few days, it would be jealousy. Now I'm going to read you a few quotes from the Washington Post which describe Durant's feelings while he was on the Warriors, and you can see for yourself why he would leave. During a post-game argument between Durant and Strauss, sparked by the reporter's article describing Golden State's on-court need to placate the soon-to-be free agent, the superstar accused the journalist of trying to rile up Steph fans. Durant, who signed a 4-year, $164 million contract with the Nets last offseason, also got into arguments on social media with fans he believed were unfairly favoring Steph at his expense. He expressed that this was a constant theme in the Bay, Strauss wrote of Durant, who was notorious for arguing with fans over Twitter. All of us local guys just wanted to kiss Steph's blank at his expense. This was KD's constant lament. One of the most gifted offensive players in basketball history was uniquely consumed by the criticism. Guys had gotten mad at me before, but not like this. They'd shown anger, but betrayed no obsession, Strauss wrote. Generally, you got a blast of scorn, but the underlying idea is that you're a pissant who after the initial transgression isn't worth a further thought. KD made you feel as though he thought more about you than the other way around. He almost flattered you with his spite. Or, it would be flattering if the spite wasn't so KD focused. You were only hated insofar as you reflected on him. If you don't understand what this reporter is trying to say, he's essentially saying that KD was so focused on his criticism because he thought he only said it to make Steph look good. He said he had never seen another player get as upset at criticism as Durant did. Durant clearly had some jealousy towards Curry, whether he wanted to admit it or not. And this is normal. Everyone gets jealous. But according to this reporter, it was something like he had never seen before. And while I can understand being jealous of Steph Curry, this story really gets me. According to Strauss, the same guy that wrote that other piece, KD was actually jealous of Maurice Spates. Yes, Maurice Spates. Let's take a look at what he had to say. And it wasn't just about Steph. According to Strauss, Durant once hit up a Warriors fan account with a Twitter DM with a complaint that Maurice Spates was more accepted by Warriors fans than he was. I'm sorry, what? Kevin Durant was complaining about the love that Mo Buckets received? Kevin Durant, one of the most accomplished players in NBA history, is even remotely worried about Mo Buckets? What is going on here? But as Strauss writes, after the blowout win that followed, as he waited to take the podium stage, Durant was fixated on a TV that hung from the wall. Spates was with the local TV guys, yucking it up. Mo Buckets, Durant loudly groused, shaking his head. How can you call yourself Mo Buckets when you've never averaged 20 points a game? After reading that segment from Radio.com, it is clear to see that Durant did not feel loved by Warriors fans, or at least as much as he should be. Now Durant coming into Golden State after they've already won titles and expecting to be as loved as Curry, Klay, and Draymond Green does not make much sense, but it's clear he might have thought that way. Those three guys have already done so much for the city and for the team that Durant could not have expected to be as appreciated as they were since he joined them in the middle of the dynasty. Now while he may understand that now, it's pretty apparent that he didn't love the way he was treated in Golden State, ultimately leading to his departure in Brooklyn. Now we may never know how much or if any of this is true until years down the line, and we may never know. But these stories are pretty cool to hear, and they give you some insight into why Durant would leave a dynasty like the Warriors. Now if you agree with Durant in the comments, let me know. And if you disagree with him and feel he should not be jealous, also let me know. Make sure to slap a like on this video if you enjoyed it, click on our last video in the top left, subscribe in the middle, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.